going to go over a few things to help you learn faster. You can always become more efficient in the way that you learn and the way that you retain information. And the last one is a really, really good one, and I feel like it's one of the most important. With that, let's get started. First, you need to start with a clear goal in mind. You need to have a clear goal of what you want to accomplish, whatever it may be. You want to make more money, you want to get a job, maybe you just want to create an app. Whatever it is, you make sure that you have a clear goal in mind when you're beginning this process. Next one, copy work. Copy work is like when you were a child in elementary school and you were learning cursive and they gave you a piece of paper with the dotted lines and it made an A, and then you would copy over it and you would do that repetitively until you figured out how to do it. So for coding, what that looks like is that you're typing out all your work, right? So like even if you're following along with a tutorial, following along with YouTube videos, whatever it may be, you are typing out your work. That way you get familiar with putting in that information, typing it out yourself. And what we do, we tend to retain that information a little bit better when you actually do what you're trying to learn. I think they call that copy work. I could be wrong, but it sounds good. And sometimes copy work is like you're going back and looking at old code and you're copying from Stack Overflow, whatever it may be. Ideally, you would not copy and paste everything, but when you're putting a Frankenstein web page together and you're using old code, just make sure you review documentation, read through the code, and make sure that you understand what's going on with the code if you're going to copy and paste. That way, it's second nature to you. Next up, don't overthink this. That is one of the biggest hangups that stop people from learning. I don't know how many people I've talked to that stop learning the code or they take a hiatus because they couldn't do something really quickly, or they had to Google doing a project and stopping for a few months because they couldn't do it on their own. Don't overthink it. I like to go by the saying KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And what that stands is like, I'm going to put my best into something, but I'm not going to overthink it, and I'm not going to waste time when I don't need to waste time on it, right? We're learning, and we're not going to know it all. We're not going to learn everything the first time. We're not going to retain all the information. So we got to remember, don't overthink it. Do your best. Usually what I do is I give it a full day. So like say I'm working on something and I can't figure it out, whatever. I try to give it at least that day, couple hours, whatever. And then if I can't figure it out on my own, then I will reach out and try to get more help or find the solution in the tutorial, whatever that looks like. But don't overthink it. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. It can be very simple, and sometimes just doing repetitive stuff over and over again will help you retain that information, and it will help you continue in your journey. A trick for your brain. Next up, make sure you're working on your own projects, right? Your own projects are very important because it opens up that creative piece in your head that you might not feel like you have, because I know that I did. But you need to work on your own projects so you can get a better understanding instead of just following along. And them projects are gonna suck. Mine suck really bad. And that's okay because they're supposed to suck. But just make sure that you're actually working on things on your own and not just through the tutorial. The tutorials are good, they're nice, they give you ideas, but you need to put your own twist on it, add your own flavor, add your personality. That way you get a chance to apply the things that you've learned through your tutorials, through your boot camp, whatever it is, however you're learning. That way you have a chance to apply it and use it in your real world. Finding a community to learn with is really nice because it helps give that extra motivation factor. If I know someone else is kind of on the same page I am, it motivates me because I am somewhat competitive and I like, I like that camaraderie, right? Like, all right, well, I figured this out. I learned actually with my son. My 17-year-old son is actually probably a better coder than I am. And I used him to help motivate me to keep going on the days that I really didn't want to. Really appreciate that. So try to find someone to help push you. The more repetition, the more you learn. All right, and now this one I feel like is the most important. And I do believe it's called the Fryman technique. What it is that when you're learning, you need to teach it to the next person. And what that does is allow you to take something complicated, break it down into something simpler, and share it with somebody else. But as you're doing that, what you find out is you actually simplified the complicated thing you're trying to learn, and you're like, oh, it really is simple. Which leads me back to KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Because when we keep it simple, it's easier to retain, and that can help you learn. That's a big reason why I started this YouTube channel, was to be able to explain things that I'm learning and to try to retain some of the information. Shout out to my dude Brandon for letting me use this Sony camera. I like it. I think it looks really cool. I got to figure out how to connect my mic to it, which I tried to earlier, but it was making a bunch of noise. Remember, man, just keep practicing. Practice, practice, practice. I always heard it when I was a kid. My dad always said practice makes perfect. Well, what I've learned is that we never become perfect, but practice does make us better all the time. That's why I say consistency is key. Even if it's a little bit, if you're consistent each day, you will get better. Just like working out, right? Like if I do 10 push-ups every day, but if I stay consistent with it, even though it's small, I will see a change. I will see something better. I will see something different. I want to thank everybody for showing their love and support to this channel. I really appreciate it. This is already becoming something I didn't really expect with it, and it's making me really excited. I really enjoy doing this, and I really, really enjoy everybody's support and love. And I just was not expecting this, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to Will's Talks. Seriously though, thank you guys. I genuinely appreciate it. I just really did not expect this, and I genuinely appreciate it. I'm enjoying this much. I hope to bring you some more valuable information coming soon. Thinking about doing something a little funny on this channel because I like to goof off and play. I'm thinking about adding a little funny clip. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you again. Don't give up on your goals and dreams. Don't stop. Keep going.